I'm so nervous.
Why do I put this much pressure on myself?
If you missed my video from last week, I finished the pour on my house foundations.
Aren't they pretty?
It was 8 weeks of labour and learning, but I'm so glad that I made the decision to complete them myself.
I still need to get off the formwork, fill in the holes and pass inspection, but
having them completed is the most satisfying feeling, and now I just come out in the mornings and drink my coffee looking at them. The job that I have to complete today is the shed pad.
before we get into it, this is Building a Dream. I'm Jasmine and I bought this untouched land with the goal to build my own off-grid container house and homestead with no experience.
I know I said I would relax after I got the footings done, but with the change of seasons, I really don't have the time to do that. Didn't you just hear me? I don't have the time. I always have the time for her. Anyway, like I was saying, with the change of seasons, time is of the essence. So I really don't have the time to sit and relax. I can do that as soon as I've got all these things done. Winter is just around the corner, and so that rock hard clay that you saw me digging is actually turning to mush. Since I've had the footings done, it's rained on and off a few times, and the ground is just, you can feel it when you walk on it. It's just like sludge, sludge, sludge. So that means I wouldn't be able to get the container guys in if I don't get them delivered soon. But I also wouldn't be able to get the shed pad done, which I really want to do so that I can have somewhere for storage. So not only would the concrete truck not be able to get in because of the soft ground, but I also made a pretty exciting decision the other day to get something extra that is going to be in the way, and I don't think the concrete truck would be able to get in here at all, which would mean wheelbarrowing all the concrete. If I don't get it done before the containers are delivered, it might not happen at all, and it definitely wouldn't happen till at least after winter time. I need this ready for pour day. This is a level and compacted sand pad that I had installed by an earthworks team a long time ago, and that's also a factor. It was installed a while ago, so if I let this go through the winter and don't get my slab on it and everything, it might just deteriorate. At the moment, it's still compacted and level, so that makes my job 100 times easier already than the footings were. Last week after pour day, I got finished adding all the formwork to the outside of the slab.
I picked up this timber from a salvage yard to use as a formwork for my shed foundation, which will be a concrete slab. I used stakes to mark out the square, and then I placed the timber behind these, securing them in place with more stakes and screws so that they won't move when the concrete is poured from the chute. And then I just double checked to make sure the pad was square and level.
All I need to do today is add my builder's plastic, and then my job's pretty much done. Oh, and I do just need to put little marker indicators to show how far the concrete's going up to. For pour day, it'll just be putting on reinforcing steel mesh, which I have, I'll show you. Some of the reinforcing steel mesh that I picked up from the salvage yards, and I've got some more my trailer. These I can't lift up alone, obviously, so these need to be placed onto here, but I'll need some help to do that, and so I'll wait for pour day. And I can just pop the rebar chairs underneath it. I'm gonna go get the builder's plastic.
The sand pad is 10 metres by 10 metres, so the shed slab will be slightly smaller than that. My goal is to have as big a shed as possible in case I decide to build my tiny home on the trailer in there. With all the formwork complete, I'm adding my builder's plastic to the base, which the reinforcing mesh will go on top of on the Rio chairs.
More than halfway through. I've got all the black plastic down. I'm just gonna go around and cut off any excess. I'm finished with the builder's plastic. It is all down, all cut. I've just put some logs to keep it down, and hopefully the wind doesn't blow it up. The wind came, of course. I don't know why I didn't think it would. Wind is always here, Jasmine. I just put planks of wood everywhere where I think it might flip. Till I can get help lifting the big sheets of steel on. Yeah, that's all done. Now I just need to go along and do all the marking so that I know how far the concrete's got to come up. And that's it. A pretty exciting decision. So I was having a lot of trouble with getting a crane. That the people that delivered my containers, they would be able to put it on the footings for me. But they saw a photo and they were like, nah, it's not gonna happen, so you need to get a crane. I spent the next few days trying to get a crane, but it just wasn't happening, and the quotes were like ridiculous, around $5,000 to $6,000, and I was like, well, this is just a lot. And so I asked the container guys if they could help, and they were like, yeah, leave it with us, we'll sort it out. Next day they got back to me and they said they got a crane that's coming with them, and I was like, no way. It made me think, since I'm saving money now from the crane, maybe I should get another container. I asked them if it would be too hard, and they were like, nah, we'll chuck it on a little trailer and bring it with us. And it's gonna go here. I'm gonna have the house here, and then I'm gonna get it put right in here. So if I have the container there, the concrete truck is just gonna struggle to get to this shed pad and then yeah, deliver the concrete. That's why I need to get the shed pad done before the containers get here. I've just got nowhere to store anything. So I'm getting the container for storage. So very exciting. I did have a plan in the future, just an idea, but I kind of want to make a natural pool and I want to make one with a container. So I'm thinking if I have that then, after I've used it for storage and I've got my shed built, then I can use it for my natural pool. All right, I'm just going to go along now and start marking out. Gosh, if only my house footings had been that easy. The reason that the concrete truck can only come in this way is because a plumber contacted me after delivering the septic system in January and was like, okay, we're ready to put it in. So they also came last week and installed the septic system. Is on the way to install the septic system. Just over there. And I'm pretty sure it needs to kind of line up with the shed here. So I feel like it'll be kind of in line, same length as the house, but in line with the shed. Here too. Yeah, so I don't know what I had in my head when I pictured a septic system. In my head, it was something that's under the ground and that you never see again. I was a bit shocked to realise that they're that ugly and that they stick that far out of the ground, and then all the way under the ground here is the leach drains, which I can't drive on, build anything on, have anything parked on. Yeah, it's definitely taken up lots of space. So that was a bit of a shock. Not what I expected, but I mean, that's what's happened the whole building process so far. So I'm sure this won't be the end of it. Why the truck can't come in that way, as you can see. So it definitely cannot come past that, and it's definitely not allowed to drive on here, which is where the leach drains are under the ground to deliver the concrete there. Has to come this way. If the container's there, it can't come in. That's why the shed pad has to get done this week. Next job of the day is getting all the formwork off of these footings. Start with doing the bracing first. So all this part down here that's holding up the footing forms. So I'll take off all this wood and then I'll get in here and take apart the formwork and get that out. And then I'll need to cut all of that away, which is going to be fun. So I get to reuse all these screws. Along and do the same thing along all of them now.
I made my way around to all 16 footings, removing all the bracing and formwork.
My drill is smoking. I think this one f***ed it. I mean, this one messed it up. So I'm going to start with this one and try to get this footing form off. I have no idea how this is going to go. I just know I don't want to hurt the concrete inside. Behind my goggles, so these are the only things I have. Cutting disc on. I need something to pull this, see if this works. Cut a bit more. I've run out of battery. I'm gonna cut this side and see what happens. That's awesome. This is a big column. Let's fill her in. Look at my feet from the clay. It's going well, but I'm so puffed. Just need to compact it down and then it is complete. Django honestly thinks everything I make is for her. Middle of the day, so it's getting a bit hot, so I'm just gonna take a break from filling in the holes and cutting. And I'm gonna, I'm gonna cut something else. I'm gonna cut some steel plates. So I need like steel squares that will go on here and then the foundation bolts will come through them. So I've got some steel, but it's not cut to size yet. So I just need to measure these all up. This is my steel, it's really heavy. I'm gonna mark 10 pieces. That's already 30. All right, hopefully that works. New battery. Serious? What? That battery didn't even get through one. So if this is using one battery per cutting one plate, it's gonna take a lot longer than I thought. Plate number 2. I've already been through my 3 batteries. This is taking forever. Last one. I'm so excited. Time to get him in the car. It might be one short. I've got one piece left, but it's not a big piece. I'm gonna have to grab it and see if it fits. Let's hope it fits. Oh, I've got another one. What are you doing here? You go there. I thought I had enough. Don't worry, just Jasmine being silly again. I'm going to move on to drilling the holes. So I need to drill some holes in those metal plates that I just cut. So that the bolts can come through, but I need to work out a clever way to mark them, because I tried to mark a few of them yesterday and I just drew like texture, well, I was trying to draw texture where the bolts were touching, but yeah, I couldn't really get under there with the texture because there's like no space. So I'm thinking what I might do is put like a little dab of like white paint on each bolt and then like press the plate down, and then I'll be able to see where the circles need to be drilled. Whoa, I just caught you. So I'm gonna try to do that paint thing. I finished marking out all my metal plates and they're looking really good, like it worked really well. So now I can see exactly where I need to drill them, and I just have to drill them, and hopefully it's not too hard. But I am going to start that job tomorrow because I want to get an early night before concrete pour tomorrow for the shed slab. I also called a neighbour who was able to help me move the mesh onto the shed slab. This means that I can place the Rio chairs underneath so that the pad is ready for pour day. I need to know, how do concreters do this? Like, how do they get the rebar chairs under the mesh when the mesh is so large and you can't like stand on the mesh because otherwise you hold the mesh down? Like, the grids I can like fit through just with my feet if I take my boots off. But like, surely the concreters don't like all take their boots off and stick their feet through the mesh. Surely there's an easier way, and I want to know it. I didn't imagine that being that hard, but I mean, I don't imagine anything being that hard. But it's all done. It looks really good. All the chairs are under, so I think the pad's ready to go. Call it a night tonight, go get an early night, and then it's concrete pour day for the shed slab. I'm getting one other person to help me, and that's it. So hopefully we can complete the job by ourselves.
Before we get to pour day for the shed slab, I was actually able to get half a day after completing the formwork for the slab last week to work on my secret garden.
So this is where I'm planning to add kangaroo paw.
If you haven't heard me speak about this yet, it's basically going to be a massive magical garden wonderland that I'm planning to create on the property. It'll be filled with native plants, food plants, fairy gardens, creeks, animal sanctuaries, and many magical doorways. I picked up some plants to starter a while ago, but I've been so busy I haven't had a chance to plant them, so I was so excited to get in there and get started.
Came back from getting my seeds, and apparently I've created a little sleeping zone for someone. This is for the plants to grow, not for the babies. Well, it looks like Django approved. Okay, so I made this a few months ago while I was waiting for building approval. and it's gonna be the start or the entrance to my secret garden. And I'm calling it a secret garden because when I was a little girl, I had a dream of like having a secret garden, having this magical place where I could go hide, and there was all this beautiful nature and fruits and magical plants and animals and insects, and yeah, just a magical place. I'm gonna start here with the entranceway. I just built this from logs off of the property. I've got like a little bench on this side here, and there's gonna be wisteria, so I'm gonna plant wisteria at each post so that it can climb up and cover the archway. You can probably hear that in the background. I'll show you what it is. So I've been having huge problems with crows and my chickens. So I put up all these little alfoil tin, like barbecue tray type things, and apparently they don't like the glimmer, and it seems to work. So they've been staying away, but it's a bit annoying. I probably should move them further apart. Basically, you'll come in through here, and this will be covered in beautiful purple wisteria. And then we walk through, and now here I think I'm wanting this one and this one filled with kangaroo paw. So I'm going to grow some kangaroo paw in there. And now I'm going to turn this leaning tree into like an archway. So I want to prop it up with like another log here, and then it'll be a bit taller and like an archway, and then I can create posts along the side here to continue on the archway, I guess, like further down along here. And then I've just dumped these rocks at the moment, but they're basically just going to be around the trees as little gardens. And then there's going to be like a pallet wall over there as a garden. There's going to be a little pond in the middle here, gazebo and everything over here. So yeah, I really need to get her in the ground. Oh, it's getting cold. All right, next I'm just going to pop in my blueberry. Oh, I love gardening. You're going to be here. It's pour day for the shed slab, and it is bloody freezing here, and it's so foggy. The shed pad is all ready to go. The concrete truck is here. I'm so nervous. So the concrete trucks have left. There was 2 in carrying about 5 ton each, and I've just got enough, like literally just. So we're just going along now and screeding it, and there's only 2 of us, so it's a pretty big job. But I mean, we've done pretty well. It's going pretty fast, and the truck was able to like drive onto the pad a bit to make sure that it got as far as it could. So we didn't have to rake it around very much, which is good. So now it's just screeding and then using the big bull float to go across. Oh, that was hectic and took like 5 hours, but it's done, almost done. It's just the final stages of like wetting, finishing, but it's looking pretty good. So now just gotta keep a close eye on it, make sure everything goes okay during the drying period and no kangaroos come along or anything, or dogs. Need to get all the formwork off for the footings and then fill in the holes. But with that and the plates, that's it, and they'll be done. And then hopefully they get past. Fingers crossed. And then yeah, containers delivered the day after.